Hello, Erin from Morehouse Farm here with today's knitting tip, which is how to do the SKP, which in other words is slipping a stitch, knitting the next stitch, and then passing the first and slipped stitch over. And the reason we use this is it is the left-leaning decrease that parallels knit two together. And the reason we use it when we're using lace knitting techniques is that we want to be able to do an opposite. Right? So in this case, they lean to the left. In this case, they lean to the right. So we need to be able to have the stitches lay a little bit differently in order to achieve that. Now, as you saw in the last video, right, lace knitting is just a technique where you're using yarn overs and knit two togethers, or yarn overs and the opposite of knit two together that would lean to the right, the SKP, going in this direction, to create this beautiful lacy pattern. It doesn't have to be done with any particular size yarn or needles. In fact, this is a pretty sturdy yarn. It's Morehouse Gator yarn, and it can take what you can dish out, which is why I thought it would be fantastic for this project. And look how beautiful this lace design is already. I haven't even blocked this, which means all the stitches are still uneven, so don't worry at all about that. Once we block it, which means we're gonna give it a bath, and yes, if we're gonna knit something by hand and then wear it, we're gonna wanna be able to wash it. So we're gonna do that first after we complete the project, and then we're gonna see what a difference it makes. So stay tuned at the end of this knit along to see what blocking comes out like. But first, we need to show you that SKP. So first, at the beginning of my round, it's telling me to do a yarn over, but then I wanna slip a stitch as if to knit. I wanna knit the next stitch, and then I'm gonna slip that first stitch back over the second. Yarn over, slip one as if to knit, knit the second one, first one over the second. Last time this way, yarn over, slip as if to knit, knit one, pass the first slipped stitch over. When you're doing this in throwing style, right, yarn comes forward for the yarn over, we're still slipping, now we're knitting, and then we're passing that first stitch over. Bring the yarn forward for your yarn over, slipping one, knitting, and yeah, this is gonna wrap it around a couple of different stitches here until you get it organized and then put that first stitch over the second. And you'll see we've got holes leaning in this direction, and then next round, right, we'll add the holes on this side again, so it'll do that zigzag that we saw. Okay, so we'll finish out this side with our throwing style. Picking up the stitch, gotta make sure I get all three pieces of the yarn. Wrap, slip, knit. And here I am again with a brand new technique, trying to use the double pointeds and only 3 of them, because I thought, oh, that would be handy to know in case I ever can't find all of my set. You know it happens. Or you have them in another project, so what if you only had 3 available? Let's give it a try. Or the puppy runs off with one, because that did happen too. Okay, there you go. And that, you'll see, is the beginning of some pretty awesome lace technique knitting. Not too hard, right? Remember, you can't say can't unless you follow it by yet, because you can do these things. It may take a little practice. It may not be perfect at first. In fact, I guarantee it won't be, because nothing in life is. But stick with it. It will get better. Happy knitting from Morehouse Farm.